Hi everyone, I'm Will, and today we are in the BMW M8 GTE car in the iRacing BMW 12.0 series. You can see us here, we're in this black, red, white, and blue M8 coming around behind the pace car. Pace car is going to be going off in just a moment. Got a very good qualifying up on the second row, hoping for a good results here, because this track has been quite a handful so far this week. Pace car is in, so now we're waiting on the leader to start us off here. Alright, not the best start. As you can see already, the person we started next to in third is moving up a little ways. That green and white car tries to come up the inside there, but it gives us the room, and we're still in our fourth position here, trying to take it easy through those first few turns, because we know this is where a lot of incidents happen. So that green and white M8 comes in very late on the brakes. And you can see some chaos back there. The number 9 turn around sideways, but we let the green and white car there of Mr. Allen come through. And now we're going to see if we can get back by him to come through this very tricky right-hander. And he's going to understeer his way into the wall, bounces off the wall into us. Now we have to sit and wait for the field to come by so that we can get out safely and get back on the track. And you can see that front driver's side right there is quite damaged. We're going to find out if it damaged the suspension or not, if we need to come in to the pits and use our fast repairs. There is a fast repair in this series, and this is very early in the race. We're already essentially in last place. Looks like we're going to be in 17th at the end of the lap. So already you can see I'm taking it very easy, as this car seems to be just all over the place. Now we've got somebody with the number 1 car not looking before backing back out onto the track after losing it. And there we find out that our damaged M8 here doesn't turn right anymore, which, you know, might be a little bit of a problem. There's that number 1 car almost ran us off the track. We're going to let him by. And we're going to head into the pits as soon as we get past this next right-hander and go ahead and use that fast repair so we can get back out on track and see if maybe we can make up some positions, maybe not. This is a, not the highest I-rating field of drivers, so hopefully they're going to make some mistakes. We're going to be able to make up some positions, but you can see we are going to be all the way back in 18th place, last place at the end of this lap. And there is one other car there, Ivan's car, the number 6 in the pits, and you can see now he's going to get out just ahead of us, clips through us. But we use that fast repair. We're now back on track. So looks like we're going to be in probably 17th as Lawrence Minor, however you say that name, is still in the pits. But here we are, coming out of the pits next to Ivan into turn 1, trying to take the outside, see what we can do. Going to brake a little early, see if we can get the undercut. A little too slow for that, so probably would have been better off just sticking him to the inside. But through these corners, really, it's better safe than sorry. No use losing the race in another wreck because we were trying to fight for this position all the way in the back. So it's very close to the wall coming out of there. Still trying to close the gap on Ivan. So he protects that line that I was thinking about taking to go around the outside and hopefully get the inside of that corner. Locking up the brakes a little bit, that's going to lose some time. Coming through here, this time without anyone backing out in front of us and trying to kill us. Understeering, you can hear that tire skipping along bumpy pavement. We've got about a half-second gap we're trying to get rid of here. Coming to the end of lap 2, race is nearly 4 minutes over. It's almost a third of the way, only 2 laps completed. Very short races, so when you make a mistake or end up in a wreck like we did in the first lap, it's really hard to come back and make any noticeable gains. But let's see if we can move up from, we're in 15th right now. We've got less than half a second on Ivan in front of us coming into turn 1. We are right on that bumper now, trying to find a place to get past him. Just got to wait for a mistake or wait for an opening somewhere we know faster. And look at that. He understeers through there, so we're going to be a little quicker on the throttle than him. We're just you can just barely see this inch by inch getting closer to Ivan here. Going ahead and trying to claim the inside here. Not quite enough room, but he's too busy looking at us, and he understeers, almost goes into the wall. We're going to be past him. Just past him. Put on the pressure. Sometimes you don't have to actually think that you're going to overtake. Just stick your nose out there, make it look like you're going to go for it, and they will panic and try to give you room, end up understeering in the wall, whatever. And it really, the intimidation factor is real in iRacing. So now we are going to be up into 14th, chasing down Gary McGinnis. He is about 5 seconds ahead of us right now. You can see him going through this sweeping right-hander here. I know that's probably technically turn 1, but to me it's just barely a sweeping curve, and this next turn right here is really what feels like turn 1 of this track. You see Ivan's still not too far out behind. It's just about a half second, so he is there ready to strike if we make mistakes. We got to make sure that even though we're trying to catch up to McGinnis ahead of us, not to make any mistakes and let Ivan by. Speaking of mistakes, a little bit of understeering there. Once again, you can hear the tire just skipping along the pavement. And understeer and locking up the brakes are the absolute worst enemies on this track at Belle Isle in Detroit, because as soon as you lock up the brakes in most of these tight turns, as we take quite a bit of curb there, as soon as you lock up the brakes, most of the time you're going to end up in a barrier. And from that point on, race is pretty much over most of the time, as you could see what happened to us in the first lap. But now, hey, we've got about 2.5, 3 seconds to McGinnis now, so we are making up ground as we come through the last few turns here of lap 4. Race is halfway over, a little more, as we're almost 7 minutes through the 12-minute race now. Let's see, Ivan falling back about 1.5 seconds behind us now. So hopefully he keeps going back and we keep moving forward, so we don't have to worry about what's behind us and we can focus on what is ahead. And once again, these 12-minute races, so short, you're not worried about tire wear, you're not worried about fuel because it's a fixed setup, you've got enough fuel to make it through. All you're worried about is putting in the fastest lap you can so you can catch the cars ahead of you. Look in front of us now, we have Victor Russo, who was in 11th, and McGinnis was able to get by, must have made a mistake. So we are catching up Russo here, trying to eye him up, see if we can get past. You can see he's got a damaged rear end, got some dents in there. About a half second between us now. And he has no front end either, so that car is probably pretty badly damaged. He's probably looking to go to the pits. Let's see what he does. Damaged front and rear end, probably spun it, went to the wall. And he lets us around there. Very nice of him. Knows that he doesn't have the speed, so he goes ahead and lets other cars by to avoid contact. See if he lets Ivan by as well. So it comes to the end of lap 5, 8 minutes into the race now. And in front of us, we have Kosick Allen rather, in 11th place. We are up into 12th, so a lot better than the 18th or so we were in after that wreck, but still not as good as we could have done if we were able to successfully get through that first lap starting on the second row. So about 2.5 seconds to Kosick in front of us in the number 14 car. Locking up just a tiny little bit through that left-hander. Trying to keep it smooth, because smooth is fast on this track for sure, because as soon as you start fighting yourself, fighting with the steering, fighting with the brakes and the throttle, you're losing time or you're in a wall, one or the other. So smooth is fast, and you can see Ivan back behind us now about 3 seconds. Not too worried about him. As long as we don't make any serious mistakes, he should be staying back there. And now we can see Kosick getting closer and closer in front of us. 1.5 seconds now, up to 11th place. As we come to the last stages of lap 6, 9 minutes completed out of 12. And you see Ivan bends it behind us, spins it around, so we're not worried about him anymore. Not worried about him at all. So we've now got 6 seconds to Russo behind us, Victor Russo. We're trying to get up to Kosak in front of us now in 11th place. He's got a good run, nearly 4 seconds into this right-hander here. But at the moment, we are just all to ourselves, trying to essentially hot lap and get some time, get some good lap times, and move up. All right, we are closing in quite a bit. Probably made a mistake through that right-hander. Less than a second to the number 14 car now in 11th place. Going up under the Corvette banner, hard on the brakes, making sure not to lock it up. Taking all of the curb we can. And we're going to be right on his bumper through this left-hander, past all these little Auto Trader banners out here. However, this is one of the corners I struggle with, is this right-hander right here, so let's see how close we can stay. Looks like he was oversteering a little bit on the exit, so we're going to stay pretty close to less than half a second to Mr. Allen ahead of us. Right on his bumper now. Can't even see the curb, running a little wide because I couldn't even tell where to turn in there. So we are finishing up lap 7 now. Less than a minute left to race, so we're going to finish this lap and then one more afterwards. Look at that. He's making a mistake there. We have to get on the brakes to make sure to not run into his bumper. See if we can get past him. Side by side into this hard right-hander on the brakes, still side by side. Looks like he was going for the undercut, but just too hard on the brakes wasn't gonna happen. So we're now past him and already have nearly a full second advantage over him. So hopefully we can stay ahead and successfully stay in 11th position. So not quite top 10, not quite you know, the baseline of what you want, but a big difference from being in 18th after crashing out the first lap and having to go into the pits. Tires squealing for help, just asking to be left alone. But like I said, it's a short race. Have to go hard every lap. You're not worried about conserving tires or fuel here at all. Look at that. Kosak was getting close to us, but he bends it to the same place that Ivan did earlier, I believe. And so he's no longer an issue either, as he is 8 seconds behind us. And look at this. McGinnis, for some reason, is going into the pits. Did he wreck in that lap? So we are up into 10th position now, as McGinnis is in the pits from, I believe he was in 10th, I'm not sure. So now, on the last lap, we are up into 10th. We made up 8 places since that terrible first lap. So, not, you know, still not very happy at this stage after that first lap. Just really went through the rest of this race just fuming because I could see that you know, I was competitive in this race. See, the car was competitive, and probably could have had a nice top 5 finish had we not had not been caught up in that wreck on lap 1. But as we're coming to the end of this race, finishing the 9th and final lap, time has run out. We're going to be about, it's like 7 seconds or so behind Kosak, or I'm sorry, in front of Kosak, and then about 7 seconds behind Josh Skelton in front of us. So here we are for the final time, coming through these last few right-handers, ready to cross the line. Just taking a nice and leisurely stroll through Belle Isle here on the last lap. So there's no chance of catching anyone as we come across the line, and that is the race. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed. It's a great example of why you should never give up on a race. Even when you have a terrible first lap, you can still move up a lot of positions depending on the race. So once again, thank you everyone for watching. If there's anything you'd like to see changed, anything you'd like to see me put up on the channel, please put it in the comments, and I'll see you next time.